First, I want to kind of talk about what is ScrumAlliance's program for Cal 2 accreditation. So once you have an idea of what the expectations are from ScrumAlliance, which is the body that accredits people as certified agile leaders, then we'll talk about how I have designed my program to fit into the expectations that ScrumAlliance has for people to get accredited as Cal leaders. We'll start with that first. From the ScrumAlliance program standpoint, in order for someone to get accredited as Cal 2 or Certified Agile Leadership, there are multiple paths for it. One path is that the individual has completed Cal E, which is the Cal Essentials, and then taken either Cal T or Cal O. That's one path. Or the other path is they have taken Cal E, which is a default that every participant has to take, and they've also taken Cal T and Cal O. So there are different options that people have in order to be eligible to participate in the Cal 2 program. Once you have completed the Cal E, Cal T, or Cal E, Cal O, or Cal ETO accreditation, after that, you would be qualified to participate in the Cal 2 program. Now, the expectation that ScrumAlliance has for participants who have been through the Cal 2 program is they have learned something, which is their expectation of advancing the education that the leaders had in the field of agility and agile. Then they have practiced what they have learned in their environment, which is described as the validated practice stage. And then the third part is that they are sharing what they have applied in their work context with the peers, with their peers who are participating in the Cal program. And as they share, they receive a feedback from their peers to then understand how they are applying what they have learned in their world of work and what could they do differently. So there is an inspect and adapt loop that is expected as part of the ScrumAlliance Cal 2 program, that we not only learn, but we actually apply what we've learned and then get feedback on what we have learned to then improve on what we are going to do next. This particular program is based on covering advanced education topics in 3 core areas. Area 1 is leadership within an agile context. Area 2 is the agile organization, and area 3 is agile approaches to change. Throughout this journey, you should expect that you'll receive mentorship or coaching, and every single Cal educator, which is different people who offer this kind of a program, they have their own course that tries to meet the framework of the Cal 2 accreditation, and they do it in a manner that is their own. In other words, if you were to go to 2 different Cal programs, you will find that the actual content that is covered could be different, because each Cal educator brings their own personal experiences, their own insights, the way they view the world of agility and how it works for participants. The expectation with validated practice for Cal 2 accredited candidates is that when candidates learn about these advanced education topics in those 3 areas, they are expected to document their experience and prepare 3 reports. The format that ScrumAlliance provides for you to document your experience is on the right-hand side over here. It captures things like, what is the title? Give us an introduction. What are some methods you used? What happened? How did you analyze it? Then what discussions you had, and if you have any references for research or other artifacts that you made use of as part of applying your learning in your world of work. So the expectation for a Cal 2 accredited individual is that they have documented 3 reports. The 3 reports are in the 3 topic areas which cover the advanced education topics. Finally, it is expected that after the candidates have captured and documented their report, received feedback from their participant peers and they have applied some learnings based on the feedback in their world of work, they will come together for an end peer review workshop. In this peer review workshop, each participant will share one of their reports to all other participants, and then they will be open to having that experience be discussed, analyzed, considered from a case review standpoint. And at the end of presenting your peer review workshop and receiving feedback, which I hope what is intended from ScrumAlliance is that this will give you some kind of insights on what you might do beyond your Cal 2. So you've completed advanced education topics, you've applied some of these concepts in your world of work, you've prepared a case study of how it went for you, and now you're receiving feedback from your peers, not just a Cal educator, which should help you see how you could develop as a leader, how your organization could develop as a leader, like develop agility, and what it means for you beyond the Cal 2 program. Is the ScrumAlliance overall structure kind of clear so far, like what is expected from them? Yeah. So the way I have designed this particular course, and like I said, different Cal educators have a different approach to this. Not one is not better than the other. You'll kind of have to decide for yourself. But the way I've designed it is based on continuing the systems thinking mindset and the conversation that we started in the Cal ETO program. And my intention with Cal ETO and continuing into the Cal 2 is to provide more structure and guided coaching and mentorship as participants who come into the Cal 2 program will not only learn some new concepts, but they will have to go back to what we've learned in Cal ETO and use that in addition to what they're learning in advanced practice to apply it in their world of work. So if you look at the overall structure for this, my intention is to create a small group of people. My expectation is that we'll have about 6 people at minimum and a maximum of 12 people. I don't think it will be better to have more than 12 people in an extended program. And in this particular program, it is going to last for 5 months, where the cohort is going to meet once every monthly. I am still, I'm actually looking for feedback whether meeting every month is a good pace, or would you prefer meeting every 2 weeks? This is something that has been an open-ended question in my mind, because my expectation is that when you participate in one monthly session, you will need some time to prepare your environment, to apply some of the techniques, then apply those techniques, document your experience, and after you've documented that experience, you come back in the next Cal monthly session to review what you've done and then learn some new topic areas. There will be assignments in between each monthly workshop. These assignments are fairly well defined, and I'm going to go a little bit more into what each of the sessions could look like. My intention is that with a small cohort of 6 to 12 people, we are forming a supportive environment where we encourage and support each other's leadership journey, which is different than in a classical training environment where we provide new information, and after the information is provided, we kind of hope, you're able to remember it and apply it in context. Here, I am expecting that when you join this cohort, you would be open to having conversations with your cohort even after or beyond the monthly session. So I'm hoping that you will continue to have some kind of engagement with your peers, discussing some of your real world challenges, getting and providing coaching to each other, also reaching out to me in the gap period between 2 working sessions to make sure that you're not stuck on a particular situation in your work. So you're getting that support that I think is going to be necessary if you're going to apply it in your world of work. As I said, the overall structure, there will be 4 monthly working sessions, and the 5th session is going to be the peer review session, where we are not going to cover any new advanced topics, but this will be a time for all the cohort members to share their case study and then receive feedback. The sessions I'm anticipating per month would be about 6 hours per session, and there will be validated practice assignments in between those monthly sessions. So to put it in the frame of what ScrumAlliance is expecting and how I'm trying to pull it together is working sessions, they cover advanced education topics. Then you go after your monthly session in your organizational context where you will practice systems thinking approach with support from your cohort peer and the CAL educator. And then you will iterate and document your case study and share and receive real-time feedback based on what is actually happening in your world of work. So you can bring it back into the next working session where we'll take some time to learn about how it went and then add new topics for conversation, which will trigger new actions in your org. The first working session is focused on the topic area for advanced education on leadership in agile context. And the core of that session is about personal agility. I would like to bring in two main topic areas which are not covered in the CalETO. One is what do we mean by congruence and how might we lead congruently within our organization. The outcome that is expected from it is we increase our own personal ability to lead with integrity. You know, given the real world challenges, there is going to be a lot of gray areas, and how do we navigate those gray areas becomes very important if you have to have the trust of your organization to truly lead. And then we are going to focus on a topic which is agile leadership outcomes. Oftentimes I find that we go into organizations with the solutions in our mind first. So this particular topic area is going to flip the narrative into saying, how do I even understand what my team needs, what my organization needs, what individuals around me need without using the word agile? Like, what are the outcomes that they seek? So how do we create an environment where we can learn about their desires, their outcomes, their problem statements? And that's part of the module that I want to cover as part of the first working session. After the first working session, I'll be expecting that you will go back to your organization and you'll select one team, one agile team or one agile working group. It could be multiple, but at minimum, you have a team that is ready to accept you as their guide, as their coach, as their mentor. So that's part of a conversation that I will expect that you will be ready to have with some team within your organization. We'll talk about how to establish a collaborative problem-solving relationship with a team. So it gets into the conversation about how do I invite myself to be their coach, and how do I deal with resistance if they say we are not ready for coaching, and what to do about that. So that's part of that module one, personal agility. How do I even begin to engage with my team? You will be starting on the first iteration of your validated practice report on leadership in agile context and getting started on the report on what is an agile organization. From a course or program design, my intention is to give multiple opportunities for people to refine their documented validated practice reports rather than expect that we will get it done in one shot. After the working session, the second working session, the advanced topic area will move into what do we mean when we say agile organizations. Through my CalETO course, you've probably learned that we talk a lot about building a shared understanding of where our teams are at, what is their operating context, how do I understand what are the multiple backlogs, dependencies, what is going on in their context before we jump in with a solution. So here we're going to practice some systems thinking techniques. One of those techniques is to practice containers and exchanges, which is a systems thinking tool set to look at a team or an entity and to understand how does this entity interact with other entities within the organization. We'll look at how does work flow through your team and your program. Lastly, how do we decide whether we should go on a trail or a trial. So the notion of experimentation in organizational context is not scientific in the sense that we don't get to run parallel experiments about two different ideas and then see which one's better. Oftentimes, we actually take trails like going on a hike, taking a best guess of what might be a right path towards the solution. So how do we decide whether we should apply an experiment or what expectations should I have when I try to implement change? Here, the objective will be to understand the problem much more deeply, to reveal the structure of the problem that your organization or the team has presented to you. The assignments that you will have here is to apply the learnings, apply all of this that you have learned over here in our modules to go back and apply it with your teams to truly get a grasp of what are the challenges in the context for the team that you're going to support. And hopefully you develop a deeper understanding of what are some organizational level impediments and challenges that prevent that team from becoming a truly agile team. From a documentation standpoint, you'll be going and iterating on what does it mean to be a leader in an agile context. That will be iteration 2. And then again, iterating on what is an agile organization. My expectation is through these modules, you develop a much more fine-tuned understanding of what agile really means and what an agile organization is. And you will use that learning to improve on your own documentation for your validated practice report. Session 3 is now going to go into how will I support my team or my organization to navigate through the change process. Here, we're going to talk about how, as a leader, you can influence change. The practice of using the team coaching canvas, which is something that I introduced in my Cal ETO program, you'll now be using that canvas with your team to help them set up for success. You'll also be expected to learn how to design a leadership intervention for the change that your team that you're working with in your organization desires or have requested help with. One of the challenges that you will find with systems or with organizations is what a system says and what a system does can be different. In other words, we don't expect that when you apply a leadership intervention that it will or it should always work. In fact, many times the first intervention that you apply will not work as anticipated. So we have built into the program the capacity to be surprised and maintain curiosity, which means that when we apply this intervention, we will learn the true behavior of our organizational system. And then we'll have to figure out, how do I develop a countermeasure? For example, we said we'll do this and it'll give us this benefit, but it doesn't. It has shown a totally unrelated behavior from the system that we didn't anticipate. But now that we see it, we totally understand why my system is behaving this way. Now, what can I do to make adaptations to that and overcome resistance to change? Here, by the time we get to session 3, my hope is that we have finalized the 2 of our reports. One, what is the leadership in agile context? And the second report is, what do we mean when we say this is an agile organization? And you're going to start on the 3rd practice, validated practice report of agile approaches to change. Session 4 is going to be, again, agile approaches to change. And here's where we are going to go more into systems modeling. The topic area that I've captured over here is by saying, I wonder why. We don't know what is actually going to unfold in your organization. So in this particular session, we're going to capture some of the surprises in the way you applied in what happened in your organization and talk about a technique to go back to our teams to understand the deeper root causes of why our teams are working the way they are working, and how can you explore with them a better way of making changes and improving. Here, the expectation in working session 4 is we are going to explore our respective areas of puzzlement, design countermeasures to overcome resistance, or plan next steps so the teams can continue on their continuous improvement journey. The assignment here is going to prepare the first iteration and then finalize the iteration before we come back for the peer review session. So the validated practice document that you have for review should come much, much closer to completion by the time the window between working session 4 and the peer review session starts. The fifth workshop or the fifth session is going to be a peer review workshop where each individual is going to present one of their experience reports. And when they present that experience report, we are going to hold facilitation techniques like a parking lot or a fishbowl, a parking bench or a fishbowl type technique to first present our report and then receive peer feedback and earn our Cal 2 accreditation. There's one key piece that I haven't yet covered about the whole program, which I think is important. I hope this is not treated as a certification program, but I hope it is treated as a personal development journey under guidance from the Cal educator and the peers that you find in your cohort. For this to work well, one of the key things we are going to do is going to make sure, at least my intention with the course design, is to create a win-win solution. Why should your organization invest in you joining in this program? So there should be something that is a win for your organization. Why should you spend your time and effort doing this? So there should be a win for you. And for me, there should be a win, which is because I'm hosting the program, I can compensate for my time and I get to meet with really passionate Agile folks who really want to do this, you see. Here, what I'm hoping through this course design, it kind of helps you see how it helps you to develop a deeper understanding of what agility means to you, how you use your style, your preferences to influence the team and the organization. And because you're applying the learnings that you have had from the Cal 2 to work on your own organizational team, to work with peers in your own organization, that benefit also translates or transfers to them through you. So to me, this would be a win-win if a participant comes to the Cal 2 program with the intention of learning and applying, because if the expectation is I'll learn and maybe I'll apply or not, then I would say we are not yet ready to join the Cal 2 program, because your organization and your team will not get the benefit of your learning and your trials and your experiments that you are going to have with your organization in your team. So one of the things that I will ask, I wish it's not on the slide, is make sure that you talk to your organization about this journey and check that they are okay with you and they are supportive of you in taking on this Cal 2 program. Because if their expectation is that you will not do anything you learned or you will not disrupt the status quo, then it's not going to be a good ground for you to practice your skills. It is a very long program. It's a 5-month program. There is expectation that you will participate in 6 hours every day. Not every day, but every working session will be 6 hours. And it's a long-term commitment. Because we will have people from different organizations and different companies, we will not be able to record a 6-hour session with the expectation that if you miss one of the sessions, then you can watch the video recording. I want to create an environment where people can freely discuss in an environment of safety, which means that recordings will not support that kind of an environment, because we will be sharing some things that are our personal struggles, our organizational struggles, and it's best if we don't record those. So my expectation is that you are prepared to participate in all the monthly sessions. I also recognize that life happens, and if there is, for one individual, one session you can't attend because of personal reasons or family reasons, I'm more than happy to work with you on that. But by default, my expectation is that you are able to attend all the monthly working sessions, that you commit to doing your assignments, because I will not be able to act as a monitor and follow up with you to say, hey, have you finished your homework yet? Have you finished your homework? And also, you are ready to prepare and document your journey as you go through this program. Because if you don't document, I'm not going to be able to accredit that individual as a Cal2 accreditation, even if you have participated in all the 5 sessions. Now, in order to make sure that we have some kind of a support from a structural standpoint, I'm hoping that from a design of the whole course, there is one of the asks that we will be having is for you to find one member from the cohort as your accountability buddy. This accountability buddy will be a setup where both of you will engage in a conversation through the different sessions, typically in the first working session, to establish a coaching agreement between the two of you. And we'll talk in that session, what is coaching, what is a coaching agreement, how do you set it up? And this coaching agreement will provide you with one person who is going to be your coach, practicing coach, that will help you throughout the cohort program, and you will be helping them throughout the cohort program. My role will be to be involved when the two of you are struggling or there is some need for me to come in. Part of it, I think, will help you to understand what does personal agile leadership looks like, which is the first topic area in Cal2 program, is personal agility, personal agile leadership topic areas. And I want to make sure that if you are coming in from a place where you may not have a person in your organization who is willing to receive coaching from you, there's at least one person in the cohort where you get to practice your leadership coaching skills and are able to prepare and document your report based on how you support your peer leader in applying their leadership skills in their organization. So it's more options for you, so you have the ability to complete all the 3 reports. It also structurally provides you a buddy that you can build a stronger relationship with and learn together. This relationship between 2 people as accountability buddies will last throughout the whole program. So it will not, by design, it will not rotate. It will be a fixed relationship. And we'll be taking the amount of time and safety it needs to make sure that people find the kind of accountability buddy that is a good fit for them. In terms of prerequisites, and these are prerequisites that are in addition to what ScrumAlliance has. My prerequisite as a qualification filter is that participants have already attended the Cal ETO course that is led by me before. So you have some foundations on systems thinking, or you will be asked if your friend or peer wants to join the Cal2 program and they've already attended Cal E or Cal T from some other Cal educator. My ask will be that they join one of my Cal ETO courses. I am also going to extend the invitation for anyone who joins the Cal2 program to retake the Cal ETO course. And because it's a 5-month program, you have the option to sign up now or anytime during the 5 months. And that will give you a good refresher on Cal ETO if you've taken the Cal ETO a long time ago. Or you can kind of say, okay, I just want to see it from a totally different perspective. So we can work out some kind of an agreement where you could be a fly on the wall or a co-facilitator or co-helper as we go through the Cal ETO with a new group of people. But I really feel that for people to benefit from my Cal2, they need to understand the concepts and the topics that I've covered in Cal ETO first. Second prerequisite is I will expect that participants who sign up for the Cal2 program will write a short essay, a 500-word essay on what is their motivation to join the Cal2 program. Part of it is for us to be very clear that it is expected that you will have to write. It could be a PowerPoint slide, it could be a 5-minute blog if you don't like to write, but I would like to have some means, evidence of your ability to document your feelings, your thoughts, your experiences. It also will help me to understand more deeply why you're joining the Cal2 course and have maybe a couple of rounds of interactions if I feel that the motivation for you to join the Cal2 is not aligned with what we are trying to do with the Cal2 program. Primarily, it's setting the expectations up front that we will expect you to write or document and therefore demonstrate that you have those skills, you see, to put your thoughts together. Some FAQs that I anticipated, and I will want to kind of open up the floor for all of us to kind of engage in a conversation based on what we've covered. This year, I'm intending to run only one cohort in 2022. 2023, maybe two cohorts because it's a 5-month program. I don't think I can run multiple of these in parallel, given the client engagements and everything else that is going on. Sessions will not be recorded. I intend to run all of these working sessions virtually online. However, depending on how people and how the pandemic unfolds, my personal preference would be to have a peer review workshop as an in-person workshop. But for now, it is a virtual one, right? Because I think there's a lot of potential for people to come together, share their experiences, and turn it into a small mini conference of sorts, where people not only just learn about each other's challenges and experiences, but they also make lasting connections with their peers. And I think in person is better that way. But at the moment, I don't know how it'll unfold. So I'm assuming like it is going to be virtual for now. From a program fee standpoint, I'm expecting that it will be about 4 to 5K per participant. If you are watching a recording of this webinar, you can reach out to me with your questions or queries at info@evolveagility.com, or you can sign up for my newsletter. The URL is over here.